Prime Minister Lawrence Wong, SPH Media Chairman Khaw Boon Wan, CEO Chan Ying Kit, friends and colleagues. Good evening and welcome to this wonderful occasion as we commemorate the 180th birthday of the Straits Times. Seen together as we celebrate not just our own landmark, but SG60 this year, it really is an evening on which we can all look back with great pride. This should naturally be an uplifting occasion, and we are humbled to have made it so far. We are very grateful to have with us the Prime Minister, very soon, Minister Josephine Teo, and all of you, friends, colleagues, and many former colleagues as well, who have walked with ST and helped us get to this stage in our history. Thank you very much. I would also like to thank and extend our gratitude to key sponsors, Singapore Pools, Singtel, Temasek, UOB, and MHA. You're all here tonight. Thank you very much. And many others who have generously supported ST180 in various ways. Tonight, as I reflect on the history of ST, I note that as much as we can look back with pride, we must also look forward and do it with humility and clear-eyed pragmatism. And so my speech will be slightly somber and sober. We gather at a pivotal time. The world is changing. In many ways, it has already changed. As a profession and a calling, journalists don't just report these changes. Within our societies, we are profoundly part of it and reflect many of these upheavals. We speak of changes to the global order as a truism, but we also speak of it as if it were an abstract, set aside from ourselves. But surely these changes to the world around us not only reflect changes to the rules and unspoken norms that govern relations between countries, but also within countries, our societies, our communities, our friends and neighbors, and the way we interact with each other. And so besides also addressing fundamental shifts in our industry, from generative AI to funding models to news fatigue and news avoidance, we at the Straits Times also keep a watchful and introspective eye on how journalism can have an impact on and reflect the very fabric of our evolving communities and societies. For generations, mainstream news organizations like ours have stood as key pillars of society. We have chronicled our nation's triumphs and tribulations. Our commitment to truth-seeking, accuracy, and fairness has been the bedrock of our credibility and the foundation of the trust placed by our readers on us and our work. At points in our history, we were also fortunate to have had something of a monopoly on the platforms that provided the news and the facts that built on our society's commonly held truths. This landscape, however, has shifted dramatically. Just as news organizations found their feet after the disruptions caused by the internet and social media, we are now faced with new, potentially more difficult challenges. The current era is marked by information overload, the proliferation of misinformation and disinformation, and a fragmentation of audiences. The traditional gatekeeping role of news organizations has been disrupted, and the battle for attention in an increasingly noisy digital sphere is fiercer than ever. Societal changes compound these challenges. We are witnessing a growing polarization of views, fueled by echo chambers, grievance, and filter bubbles that only reinforce existing beliefs and limit exposure to differing opinions. Trust in institutions, including the news media, has fallen in many places, creating a climate of unhealthy skepticism, if not cynicism. The very definition of community is also evolving, with online interactions often supplementing, even supplanting, and framing traditional forms of civic engagement. These shifts demand a fundamental re-evaluation of the role of journalism and how we can best serve our societies undergoing such transformation. We are fortunate that in Singapore, there is still high trust in our institutions. The polarizing forces that have affected societies and in turn journalism around the world have not been felt as strongly here. In Singapore, the broad middle has held so far. And so while it can be tempting to dwell on the challenges, to lament the disruption and uncertainty that define our present, there are also opportunities. As journalists, our inherent nature is one of inquiry, adaptation, and a steadfast belief in the power of information to shape a better future. What is happening now can be a catalyst for courage, innovation, and a renewed commitment to our core values. The future of news and newsrooms, therefore, lies beyond just the day-to-day tactics of optimizing content, super serving audiences, leveraging generative AI, or driving engagement via the latest and newest algorithms of social and video platforms. Yes, these are important and now part of the day-to-day work of any newsroom. But we must do more. There's a need for newsrooms to rethink our fundamental purpose and reflect and deepen our connections with the communities we serve. It is about understanding and reflecting the needs, concerns, and aspirations of our communities, and providing them with information and insights that are truly meaningful and impactful. This requires us to move beyond the purely transactional relationship with our readers. We must foster a sense of partnership, actively listen to their voices, understand their perspectives, and create spaces for meaningful dialogue and engagement. This means investing in community-driven journalism, where we meet and collaborate with those around us to identify the stories that matter most to them and to amplify their voices. This is core behind many of our activities and efforts throughout ST180. One example is our series of engagements called Conversations with the Straits Times. So far, we have held 3 such forums where the newsroom meets different groups of Singaporeans. We've gotten a better understanding of what they want from us, and I trust they now have a better understanding of how we work and the considerations we have in making editorial decisions. We've also paid special attention to our younger Singaporeans. For example, through our news and current affairs quiz competition from April to May this year, we brought together 6,000 students from a preliminary round to semifinals and finals. And we not only brought ST to them and them to us, but most importantly, all of them together via the power of news and youthful competition. More of such interactions will come this year and hopefully well into the future. Additionally, relevance in the digital age demands that we embrace innovation in storytelling and delivery. We must continue to leverage the positive power of social media, data visualization, and groundbreaking interactive formats to present information in engaging and accessible ways. In this regard, I'm extremely proud that in a little while, we will officially launch a refreshed and new web and app experience, which features a faster, cleaner interface with enhanced ways to personalize your news feeds. We will continue to meet our audiences where they are, on the platforms they use, and ours, while most importantly, remaining true to the integrity and positive impact of our journalism. This requires a willingness to experiment, to learn from our successes and failures, and to adapt to meet evolving media and societal landscapes. Becoming closer to the community also means actively working to bridge divides and fostering common understanding. In increasingly fragmented societies, the role of journalism as a unifying force is more critical than ever. At ST, we will do our part. We must strive to present diverse perspectives ever more fairly, accurately, and sensitively, to facilitate constructive dialogue across different viewpoints, and to find and highlight the common ground that binds us as a nation. ST will always aspire to be the source of common truths, common spaces, and common understanding. This requires a commitment to empathy, to understanding the nuances of different experiences, and doing our best to avoid the sensationalism and polarization that can further exacerbate societal divisions. Our commitment to nurturing the broadest middle ground within society remains a guiding principle. But let me be clear. As we look to growing our audiences, wherever and however they read or watch us, reach alone does not guarantee the strengthening of this vital common space. Acquiring a large audience or deep engagement from a single large segment, while perhaps appealing, does not necessarily contribute to the cohesion and understanding that are essential for a healthy society. Our aim, therefore, is to be a trusted source for the majority and fostering dialogue that resonates across a wide spectrum of perspectives, including those in the minority. Of course, skepticism towards the news media will always exist. It is natural and, in fact, essential for a discerning and news-literate society. We must embrace this and acknowledge that earning and maintaining trust is an ongoing and perpetual endeavor. We are aware that the journey ahead will undoubtedly present challenges. The forces of disruption are significant, and the competition for attention is fierce. But we at the Straits Times are optimistic. We enjoy a renewed sense of purpose as we navigate this evolving landscape. The core values of journalism, the pursuit of truth, and dedication to serving the public interest remain as vital as ever. The Straits Times is already the most trusted news source in Singapore. Together with the SPH media family, we touch more lives in our community than any other media network. Our collective work is lauded around the world. By continuing to embrace innovation, deepening our community ties, and staying true to fundamental principles, the Straits Times and the broader news industry in Singapore will surely thrive in the years to come. And so tonight is also about thanking all our readers and supporters through these 180 years. PM Wong, thank you for being here tonight. To everyone whose lives have been touched in any small way, thank you for your time and trust. To everyone for whom we can continue to improve, please continue talking to us. Our future lies in becoming more than just a purveyor of information. It lies in becoming an indispensable partner in the life of our community, a trusted source of understanding, a catalyst for constructive dialogue, and a vital force for societal cohesion. This is our aspiration, our commitment, and the path we must forge. Let's keep writing the Singapore story together. Thank you very much.